Hello. Okay, The Long Winter by Laura Ingalls Wilder. We're to chapter 3, Fall of the Year. Pa and Laura stacked the last load of slough hay on the hot September afternoon. Pa intended to mow another patch next day, but in the morning rain was falling. For 3 days and nights the rain fell steadily. Slow, weeping rain, running down the window pane and pattering on the roof. "Well, we must expect it," Ma said. "It's the equinox storm." "Yes," Pa agreed, but uneasily. "There's a weather change, all right. A fella can feel it in his bones." Next morning the shanty was cold. The window panes were almost covered with frost, and all the outdoors was white. "My goodness," Ma said, shivering, while she laid kindling in the stove. "And this is only the first day of October." Laura put on her shoes and her shawl when she went to the well for water. The air bit her cheeks and scorched the inside of her nose with cold. The sky was coldly blue, and the whole world was white. Every blade of grass was furry with frost, and the path was frosted, and the boards of the well were streaked with thick frost. The frost had crept up the walls of the shanty along the narrow battens that held the black tar paper on. Then the sun peeped through the edges of the prairie, and the whole world glistened. Every tiniest thing glistened, rosy towards the sun and pale blue towards the sky, and along every blade of grass ran rainbow sparkles. Laura loved the beautiful world. She knew that the bitter frost had killed the hay and the garden. The tangled tomato vines and their red and green tomatoes, the pumpkin vines holding their broad leaves over the green young pumpkins, were all glistening bright in the frost over the broken, frosty sod. The sod corn's stalks and long leaves were white. The frost had killed them. It would leave every living green thing dead, but the frost was beautiful. At breakfast, Pa said, "There'll be no more haying, so we'll go and get into our harvest. We can get as much from the first year on sod ground, but the sod will rot this winter, and will do better next year." The plowed ground was tumbled slabs of earth, still held together by grass roots. From underneath these sods, Pa dug small potatoes. Laura and Carrie put them into a tin pail. Laura hated the dry, dusty feeling of the earth on her fingers. It sent shivers up her backbone, but that couldn't be helped. Someone must pick up the potatoes. She and Carrie trudged back and forth with their pails till they had filled 5 sacks full of potatoes. That was all the potatoes there were. "A lot of digging for a few potatoes," said Pa, "but 5 bushels is better than none, and we can piece out the rest with beans." He pulled the dead bean vines and stacked them to dry. The sun was high now. All the frost was gone, and the wind was blowing cool over the brownish, purplish, and fawn-colored prairie. Ma and Laura picked the tomatoes. The vines were wilted down, soft and blackening, so they picked even the smallest green tomatoes. They were enough ripe tomatoes to make almost a gallon of preserves. "What are we going to do with the green ones?" Laura asked, and Ma answered, "Wait and see." She washed them carefully without peeling them. She sliced them and cooked them with salt, pepper, vinegar, and spices. That's almost 2 quarts of green tomato pickle. Even if it's only our first garden on the sod, nothing could grow well. These pickles will be a treat with baked beans this winter. And almost a gallon of sweet preserves, Mary added. 5 bushels of potatoes, said Laura, rubbing her hands on her apron because she remembered the horrible feeling. The turnips, lots of turnips, Carrie cried. Carrie loved to eat raw turnips. Pa laughed. When I get those beans thrashed and winnowed and sacked, there'll be plenty near a bushel of beans. When I get those full hills of corn cut, husked, and stored down the cellar in the teacup, we'll have quite a harvest. Laura knew that it was a very small harvest, but the hay and the corn would winter the horses and the cows through till spring, and the 5 bushels of potatoes and nearly a bushel of beans and Pa's hunting, they could all live. I must cut the corn tomorrow, Pa said. I see no special rush, Charles, Ma remarked. The rain is over, and I never saw a nicer fall weather. Well, that is so, Pa admitted. The nights are cool now, and the early mornings are crisp, but the days were sunny and warm. We could do with some fresh meat for a change, Ma suggested. Soon as I get the corn in, I'll go hunting, said Pa. The next day he cut and stacked the sod corn. The 10 stalks stood in a row, a little Indian teepee by a haystacking. When he had finished them, Pa brought 6 yellowed gold pumpkins from the field. The vines couldn't do much on tough sod, he made an excuse, and the frost caught the green ones, but we'll get lots of seeds out of these for next year. Why such a hurry to get the pumpkins in? Ma asked. I feel in a hurry, as if I need to hurry, Pa said, trying to explain. You need a good night's sleep, said Ma. A mist, fine rain was falling next morning. After Pa had done the chores and eaten breakfast, he put his coat on and a wide-brimmed hat that sheltered back off his neck. I'll get us a brace of geese, he said. I heard them flying over in the night. There are some in the slough. He took down the shotgun and it went under his coat, and he went into the weather. After he had gone, Maud said, Girls, I've thought of a surprise for your pa. Laura and Carrie turned around from the dishpan, and Mary straightened up from the bed that she was making. What? They all asked her. Hurry and get your work done, and then, Laura, you go to the corn patch and bring me a green pumpkin. I'm going to make a pie. A pie? But how? Mary said. And Laura said, a green pumpkin pie? I never heard of such a thing, Ma. Neither did I, said Ma. But we wouldn't do much if we didn't do things that nobody had ever heard of before. Laura and Carrie did the dishes promptly, but in a hurry. Then she and Laura ran through the cool, misty rain to the corn patch and lugged back the biggest green pumpkin. Stand by the oven door and dry yourselves, said Ma. You're not very big, Laura, but you're old enough to put on a shawl without having to have been told. I went so fast I dodged between the raindrops, Laura said. I'm not that much wet, Ma, honestly. Now what do I do? You may cut the pumpkin into slices and peel them while I make a pie crust, said Ma. Then we'll see what we see. Ma put the crust in the pie pan and covered the bottom with brown sugar and spices. Then she filled the crust with thin slices of green pumpkin. She poured half a cup of vinegar over them, put a small piece of butter on top, and laid the top crust over that. There, she said, when she'd finished crimping the edges. "I didn't know you could," Mary breathed, looking wide-eyed at the pie. "Well, I don't know yet," said Ma. She slipped the pie in the oven and shut the door. "But the only way to find out is to try. By dinner time, we'll know." They all sat waiting in the tidy little shanty. Mary was busily knitting to finish a warm stocking for Carrie before the cold weather. Laura was sewing 2 long breadths of muslin together to make a sheet. She pinned the edges together carefully and fastened them with a pin to her dress at her knees. Together carefully, holding the edges even, she whipped them together with even, tiny stitches. The stitches must be close and small and firm. They must be deep enough, but not too deep, for the sheet must lie smooth, with it not the thinnest ridge down the middle. And all the stitches must be so exactly alike that you could not tell them apart, because that is the way that you sew. Mary had liked such work, but now she was blind and she could not do it. Sewing made Laura feel like she was flying to pieces. She wanted to scream. The back of her neck ached and the thread twisted and knotted. She had to pick out almost as many stitches as she'd put in. "Blankets are wide enough to cover a bed," she said fretfully. "Why can't sheets be made wide enough?" "Because sheets are muslin," said Mary, "and muslin isn't wide enough for a sheet." The eye of Laura's needle slipped through the tiny hole in the thimble and ran into her finger. She shut her mouth hard and did not say a word. But the pie was baking beautifully. When Ma laid down the shirt that she had been making for Pa and opened the oven, the rich smell of baking pie came out. Carrie and Grace stopped to look in while Ma turned the pie so that it would brown evenly. "It's doing nicely," Ma said. "Oh, won't Pa be surprised?" Carrie cried. Just before dinner time, Ma took the pie from the oven. It was a beautiful pie. They kept dinner waiting until almost 1 o'clock, but Pa did not come home. When he was hunting, he paid no attention to meal times. So at last they ate dinner. The pie must wait until supper time, when Pa would come with a fat geese to roast for tomorrow. All afternoon the slow rain fell steadily. When Laura went to the well for water, the sky was low and gray. Far over the prairie the brown grasses were sodden with rain, and the tall sloth grass stood dripping, bent a little under the steady pressure of the falling rain. Laura hurried back from the well. She did not like to look at the outdoors when all the grass was weeping. Pa did not come home until supper time. He came empty-handed except for his gun. He did not speak or smile, and his eyes were wide open and still. "What is wrong, Charles?" Ma asked quickly. He took off his wet coat and his dripping hat and hung them up before he answered. "That is what I'd like to know. Something's very queer. Not a goose nor a duck on the lake. None in the slough, not one in sight. They are all flying high above the clouds, flying fast. I could hear them calling, Caroline. Every kind of bird is going south as fast and as high as it can fly. All of them going south, and the other kinds of game is out. Every living thing is running or swimming, is hiding away somewhere. I never saw a country so empty and so still." "Never mind," Ma said cheerfully. "Supper's ready. You sit close by the fire, Charles, and dry yourself. I'll move the table up. Seems to me it's growing chilly." It was growing chilly. The cold crept under the table, crawling up from Laura's bare feet to her bare knees under her skirt. But supper was warm and good, and in lamplight all the faces were shining with the secret of the surprise for Pa. Pa did not notice them. He ate hungrily, but he did not notice what he ate. He said again, "It's queer, not a duck nor a goose coming down to rest. Likely the poor things want to get to sunshine, Ma said. I'm glad we're snug from the rain under this good roof. Pa pushed back his empty plate, and Ma gave Laura a look that said, now. Smiles spread across the faces, but Pa's Carrie wiggled her chair, and Grace bounced on Ma's lap while Laura sat down the pie. For an instant, Pa did not see it. Then he said, pie? His surprise was even greater than they had expected. Grace and Carrie and even Laura laughed out loud. Caroline, how did you ever manage to make a pie? Pa exclaimed. What kind of pie is it? Taste it and see, said Ma. She cut the piece and put it on his plate. Pa cut off the point with his fork and put it in his mouth. Apple pie. Where in the world did you get apples? Carrie could not keep still any longer. She almost shouted, It's pumpkin! Ma made it. It's a green pumpkin. Pa took another small bite and tasted it carefully. I would have never guessed. Ma always could beat the nation in cooking. Ma said nothing, but a little flush came up on her cheeks, and her eyes kept on smiling while they ate all the delicious pie. They ate slowly, taking small bites of the sweet spiciness to make it last as long as they could. That was such a happy supper that Laura wanted it to never end. When she was in bed with Mary and Carrie, she stayed awake to keep on being happy. She was so sleepy, comfortable, and cozy. The rain on the roof was a pleasant sound. A splash of water on her face dimly surprised her. She was sure it could not be rain, for the roof was overhead. She snugged close to Mary, and everything slid away into the dark, warm sleep. There you go. Tomorrow we will have chapter 4.